Hi, Frithjof. I'm happy to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm surprisingly well. Around me, many people have died, and quite a number are very seriously ill. But I am so far as happy as I can be. And uh, in German, I would say, ich bin wie ein frisch gebackenes Brot. I'm in good shape. And I work every day on some aspect of new work. And I have my friend David helping me with that. But I'm also very impressed with, for example, the technology we use right now. We can talk to each other, and I'm to some extent bedridden, but it doesn't really handicap me very much. In other words, I am well. I'm very, very well compared to, especially compared to other people. I have not broken anything. I've not fallen. I've so far I've had the best of luck.
That's good. Good to hear. And now we are in a poster presentation, and our poster deals with a topic that we thought about how to improve the life of the poor people with the help of additive manufacturing. And
Right.
do you mind, to explain it a bit more? What's your thoughts, behind this?
I'm delighted that you asked me that question. It's the question that is very much on my mind. Uh, you may not know that many years ago, in the 1970s and 80s, I really sort of entered this whole arena of conversation on the topic of unemployment and on the topic that there would be a great deal of people losing their jobs. And that now, many years later, is coming again to the fore. I mean, the idea is that uh, I, so to say, entered this whole discussion many years ago, bearing forward the idea that very high rates of unemployment would come. And I'm still at that point now, even though it's many years later. I feel that uh, for many different reasons, one of the main reasons are the kind of technologies that are now possible. The technologies will eliminate a great number of jobs. And to my mind, that is an opportunity for new work to enter this discussion and to say, okay, so there will be unemployment, but it's also possible for people to use uh, fabricators or additive manufacturing. I prefer the word additive manufacturing, um, in order to make themselves less dependent on jobs. That's the point. That my mind, in my mind, additive manufacturing can be used by poor people to create for themselves almost everything they need for an acceptable, uh, pleasant, modern, technologically advanced life. And so, my most basic idea in a nutshell is that poor people can, we, new work, can use to connect with the idea of unemployment and poverty. And that new work can enter into this discussion and make sure that people understand that additive manufacturing can be used. It's not inevitable, but it's an opportunity. The opportunity is there to use it so that people can make for themselves the things they need, so that unemployment is not something terrible, but on the contrary, almost something liberating. And this idea that additive manufacturing could be used by poor people, by people in poverty, or by people who have lost their jobs, by unemployed people, that it could be used to make themselves less dependent on the jobs that are now being eliminated. And maybe I should have said that at the very beginning, but I'll say it now, that in my mind, partly because of what Trump did, but for many other reasons, also simply because of the kind of technologies that is now universal practically. It is now possible to eliminate very large numbers of jobs, and that will happen. And it is that prediction on which I stake myself. I would say this is the basic idea. The basic idea is that very large numbers of people will lose their jobs, will become unemployed, will become poor. Poverty is going to rise at an amazing speed. And there is some connection to Trump in what I say, because Trump has created a situation where many things now really can be manufactured, and he has sort of tried to slow down the reaction to all of that. And that's one of the horrors that I ascribe to Trump, that he has, just like with the disease, with the COVID disease, there too he has, for a long time, acted as if this is nothing serious. We are around the corner, this as well. This is equally ridiculous to what he says about, or what he used to say about unemployment. But I want to be very clear that my main concern in this is not Trump. I can mention what I just now did, and I think I'm right about this, but that's only one aspect of the situation. The larger aspect of the situation is quite simply, as you already indicated, that to my mind, poverty is the big issue. Poverty is the big issue that is coming towards us. And for that matter, additive manufacturing will eliminate many jobs. And we have to be very careful about that. That is, right now, very recently, in America, there was a great deal of hype being addressed to the issue that buildings can now be done with additive manufacturing. Now, I know something about building, and I know something, I have worked in construction, and that is a very, very large number of people. And so for us, not only to, so to say, I'm thinking in terms of two ideas or two concepts that come together, that unite. On the one side, there is the idea that technology that is now moving forward very rapidly will eliminate enormous numbers of jobs. For example, a most telling example is that jobs in construction are a very large number of jobs. And many of those jobs will be eliminated. And I think this is part of our job to, so to say, do two things. For one thing, we need to make clear to people that unemployment is coming and will be much bigger and much more devastating than it has been in the past. And secondly, that additive manufacturing can be an answer, a response, a solution to the problem of unemployment. That people, and I have coined the phrase high-tech self-providing. And by that I meant that new technologies can be used for people to become more independent, to make for themselves whatever they really, really need. Not luxuries, but things they need. And that is the kind of future on which we are working. But I have now said too much. So you stop me and ask me a question.
Yeah. One question I have, what's your aim with this poster presentation at the conference?
To put across those basic ideas. I would say two basic ideas. One is the idea that I just enunciated, namely that in the very near future, there will be unemployment in numbers much higher than we have had in the recent past. Unemployment is coming, is one of the things I want to get across in this message, that unemployment will be very high and poverty will be very high. That's one side. The other side is to say, and somewhat strangely, and I think this may be more of a new idea, but maybe it's not that new, namely that the technologies that also eliminate jobs can also be used to make the things that one needs for life. And that is the second idea that I hope to at least give some idea of at this conference. That one idea is that unemployment will rise very rapidly. The other idea is that additive manufacturing can make it possible for people to make things for themselves that they need for a good, comfortable modern life. And that so the unemployment is not something that we try to gainsay, to pretend it isn't happening, which is what I accuse other people of. That at the moment one doesn't face up to the fact of how high unemployment really will be in the very near future. So that's one idea. The other idea is that the technologies that we are talking about, additive manufacturing, can be used in a very new way, can be used by poor people to make for themselves what they really, seriously, really, really need. And that's the second idea, so that the coming flood of unemployment is not an unmitigated disaster. Far from it. I in the book I've recently published, I made much of the fact that I think the job system is in many ways an enslaving system. It's a catastrophe for many people. And so the fact that jobs will be eliminated to me has a positive aspect. And the most positive aspect is that it will be possible in the near future for people to make for themselves everything that they need for life. Should I shut up?
No, I got a visit here by my son, little son. Yeah, he's one. I think he's now like he's now like 10 months old. And yeah, say hello.
Very little. Hi, hi, hi.
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 And maybe if when he is getting older, then all these things, yeah, gonna happen. What you are
Experience it very much. By the way, I think of you as an exceptionally good father. I think you're a wonderful father. And you will probably be a wonderful father to the little guy you just have on your lap. And he will experience what we're talking about. Because I'm not talking about something that will happen 20 years from now. I'm talking about things that will happen within the next 5 years. So by the time he is 7, many of the things that we are now talking about will actually be in place, will have become facts and not just predictions.
I hope so, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Frithjof. I say also thank you for the audience and hope, yeah, that we will get more, as I can say, people who get inspired or got inspired by your talk and will join us and yeah, we'll think about this further and help to yeah, to become a reality.
Thank you very much. I hope very much that some of these ideas will relatively soon become realities. And I think there is a chance that that will happen. And whatever I can do in my small way, I would very much like to contribute to the development of these ideas. So whatever you can suggest or do to involve me in the further development of these ideas and in making them a reality, I would be very grateful for.
Me too. Thank you, Frithjof.
Thank you.